Hi there guys, excuse me, a bit of a very different video for me tonight, as you've probably already told sort of from the title. It's a very personal sort of video, something I never thought I'd do on YouTube. You know, I'm going to talk very sort of openly about my life and things that have happened, and obviously kind of trying to work things out a bit as to why I'm currently feeling the way that I am. And I don't know, this probably isn't going to be something that people are going to want to watch or be interested in, so I don't really know. I suppose in a kind of selfish way, I don't know, maybe I'm doing this for my own benefits. Maybe it's the only way I can sort of really get this all off my chest and try and sort of analyse things properly. But before I sort of get started, I'm not saying I definitely am depressed. I haven't been to any doctors or anything, so you know, I haven't had any tests. So you know, if anyone who is depressed and really does suffer from depression and are watching this, I don't want you to think that I'm trying to sort of take the mick out of you know, this terrible illness, or that I'm sort of trying to make light of it and just say that because I'm feeling a bit down about things, I'm suddenly depressed. So I definitely don't want you sort of thinking that. You know, I have so much respect for people who suffer from depression, and you know, I've seen people sort of go through it. So yeah, I'm definitely not wanting to make fun or make light of the subject. And yes, well, I suppose I should explain the reason why made me do this video. I watch a guy on YouTube called What Fan Are, who I will link at the bottom of the page to his YouTube channel. And what I also follow him on Twitter, and sort of came to know him through the Nerdcubed YouTube channels. If you don't know who he is, and you haven't watched my videos before, then he's a guy that sort of plays games and puts them out on YouTube. That does a lot of Let's Plays. Well, he does a lot of different things. He's a very, very clever, funny guy. Got millions of subscribers. But basically, What is sort of his partner in crime with it all, and helps run the channels with him. And like I say, he does have his own YouTube channel where he does his own vlogs. And yeah, What is another great guy. You know, clearly very sort of talented, very clever sort of guy, but also very open. And he suffers with depression quite severely, really, and that's usually the main thing that he talks about on his YouTube channel. Some very, very open and honest videos from him on there. You know, it can be hard to watch sometimes, you know, because you are seeing someone open up, you know, to you over a webcam and talking about their lives, and you know, he's been through a hell of a lot, and but you know, he's very open about his depression. And you know, I've watched him over the months and watched these different vlogs, and I've not ever really sort of clicked to think that I definitely don't want to say that I'm anywhere near his levels or anywhere near that bad. I don't know if that's the right way of putting it. That sounds like an awful way of putting it. I don't mean that, but you know, suffer to that extent, should I say? But you know, I've known for a while now that I've definitely I'm not the same guy that I used to be. I've tried to sort of talk to people about it before, and I've never really got anywhere with it. But it was sort of through watching his videos that I kind of started to think about things a bit more. And on Twitter earlier today, he posted a link to a questionnaire, a depression questionnaire, that is used by doctors, I think. Well, it says on the thing anyway, and it's something that he's been sent, I think, by a doctor that he went to see. And I thought, let's just have a look and see what it says. And I mean, I wasn't expecting to sort of it come out saying that I had any kind of depression or anything. You know, I was expecting to be quite low, but I mean, I went into it very openly and honestly, and opened all the questions, answered all the questions properly, and at the end of it, it came out saying I might suffer from moderate depression. Hence why I've made this video, and hence the title. I don't really know where to sort of go from here, actually. Like I say, there's no sort of script to this. I'm literally just sat talking to you here and seeing where it goes, really. Yeah, like I say, I've not really felt myself for a good number of years now, really. I've always thought myself as quite a happy, upbeat, sort of chirpy kind of guy. You know, I absolutely love a good laugh. As many of you know, I'm a massive comedy fan, especially stand-up comedy. I have a vast collection of stand-up comedy DVDs and you know, sort of sitcoms from TV and everything. You know, I love watching them. I love making people laugh. You know, whether it's in my family. You know, we all know how to make each other laugh and how to have a good laugh. I've always loved doing that, and always with my mates sort of through high school. You know, we're always, again, a sort of tight-knit group of friends there, and we always made each other laugh there through, you know, various means, as you do through high school. And, you know, always wanted to have a really good time with people, and, you know, sort of meeting new people and having a laugh there, and sort of having a bright outlook on life and being positive about things. As people sort of know through my vlogs, you know, I always try to be as positive as I can be with Leeds United, but again, I seem to have been getting more negative. Whether that is Leeds United, the effect of Leeds United on me, I don't know. But you know, one of the things I always said about my dad, sort of when I was growing up and when I was younger, that he always sort of looked on the negative side of things, and I never quite understood it, because I was always looking at the positives and trying to be the optimistic one. And now over these past few years, I've seen that I've been doing exactly the same thing, which is something I never really did before. But I suppose the time I really started to notice that I wasn't quite right, maybe through university, but especially after university. Basically, I studied sports journalism at Huddersfield University for 3 years there. Mainly wanted to get into radio journalism. That was kind of I like to be more sort of practical, and as you can see, I'm better at sort of speaking to someone. Like my writing isn't the best. You know, ask me to sort of answer a question like this and I'm brilliant, but ask me to write it down, I'm not too good when it comes to that. So it was radio I was wanting to get into. So when I left university, I'd had experience at Yorkshire Radio and at various other sort of media sources and things, and I was very lucky enough to get a part-time job, a sort of shift job at BBC Radio Leeds on the sports desk there, working as a broadcast assistant. So basically doing all the editing and clipping and sort of recording things back at base of live sporting events, you know, making sure that shows ran smoothly on air, making sure they actually went out on air. So it was very hands-on, a very highly pressurised job, and obviously for me it was the first step on the ladder into a career in journalism. It wasn't exactly what I was wanting to do at first. Obviously it didn't involve any journalism what I was wanting to do, but you know, I was kind of prepared that's what I needed to do. So I looked at other things to do at the same time. I had a little stint with Radio Air where they asked me to go to Leeds Rhinos press conferences and yeah, do the interviews for them there, but I only did that twice, and then they for some reason didn't even have the courtesy to contact me anymore or tell me that they didn't want me there anymore. And to cut a long story short, basically, I mean, journalism is an extremely tough industry to get in, especially at the moment, and I think it was just the wrong time for me to be trying to get into it, really, because the amount of jobs that I applied for and the amount of sort of opportunities I tried to go for that just didn't work, and the amount of knockbacks there, you know, I ended up after a year of you know, I was very grateful for my time at BBC Radio Leeds, but it wasn't getting me anywhere. I wasn't doing the amount of shifts that I wanted. You know, I had to think about money as well. There was the only money that was coming in was the odd shifts that I was doing, which wasn't, you know, great money. And I was signed on at the job centre, which is just another way to bring you down, really. I mean, you know, I want to earn my money. You know, to go sign on every 2 weeks and be giving you money up, just never really sat very well with me. So after a year of trying to get into journalism, you know, after finishing uni, you know, I was feeling kind of down then, as many people would, but it led to various other things really sort of starting in my life. I sort of became a bit more of a recluse, really, just spending more time in my room watching TV, playing on my PlayStation, and the motivation that I had when I was in uni and I'd left university had just completely gone. I was spending, you know, mornings just sort of sleeping in, not getting up in the morning, not having breakfast, not really having much of an appetite there. But then when it was coming to meals, I was sort of pigging out on things, started to put weight on, really, and that sort of carried on a little bit, really. I mean, that doesn't really mean anything to you. I mean, you might sort of look at me, I mean, tell sort of a bit chubby cheek, but I mean, I don't like weighing myself, but I think I'm probably encroaching on 13 stone. I mean, I'm only 5'7", you know, I'm not really tall, I'm quite a small guy, so, you know, to be nearly at 13 stone, which is the heaviest I've ever been, is, you know, I'm not really happy with it. And yeah, to compare that with how I sort of used to be, you know, throughout high school and leaving high school, going to university, I was sort of round a decent 11, sort of 10 to 11 stone, you know, with no sort of fat, no belly or anything. Consider myself to be quite a fit person. I played football throughout a lot of high school, at a local football club. You know, we used to play right midfield there. I used to be quite a decent runner, quite a fast runner. I used to run 200 metres at school, set one of the fastest times in my year. I think that was year 9 possibly. So, you know, I used to do a lot of that. I used to play lots of different sports. I used to play tennis a lot, I used to play golf. So as you can tell, you know, quite a fit guy. So to sort of within a year or two from leaving university, well, a year or two from leaving high school, really, to get to how I am now, that's had quite a major sort of impact on my life, and maybe that's getting me down again. So yeah, to sort of summarise that bit, you know, that I didn't expect to leave university and just walk straight into a job, because that would be ridiculous. But the way that it all went, it just wasn't what I expected, and it had been my dream, you know, to be a sports journalist and to be able to sort of cover the sports that I love, and, you know, to be able to talk about them would have been amazing. And, you know, some of my friends that have gone on from university, you know, are doing really well, you know, really proud of them for sort of getting into it and sticking with it. But, you know, for me, it just didn't work out, and you know, I had to make that really difficult decision last year to stop trying, basically, because, you know, I, like I say, income was pretty much non-existent. You know, my partner at the time was just sort of becoming a teacher, and just got into a place, so, you know, she was going to be earning a wage, and I wasn't earning anything or doing anything in my life. So, you know, it was a case of just going to the job centre, being put on a work programme as well as the job centre, which meant going in for an extra day in Leeds, and just looking for any job, which it just was so demoralising. I mean, I don't want to be a guy that's just sort of stuck at a desk, you know, 9, 10, 11 hours a day working at a computer. There's just the thought of it just makes me feel, you know, sort of, I don't know, uneasy. But it was a case of I just needed a job, I needed something to do. And then when you go start doing that and looking for any job and you still can't get anything, you know, getting rejected from places like Asda, from Morrison's, you know, places like Game, places like Argos. I mean, I know it's not easy for anyone at the moment. I mean, it's such an awful time for people to be getting jobs, and you know, I felt like I was right in the middle of that. So you know, that was getting me even more down. And like I say, just spending time at home, hardly going out much. I did something which I never thought I would do, and I kind of drifted away from my friends in high school, which various reasons. I mean, you know, obviously friends do drift apart a bit, but you know, we were such good friends during high school. It's really sort of difficult. I mean, things are sort of alright at the moment, see each other, you know, when we can really, but you know, that was kind of upsetting. You know, you think of all the memories and you look at pictures from all the good times and everything, and you just wonder where they sort of disappeared to. It just seemed to be more a case of, from me, where I, you know, get invited out to things and for some reason started saying no, when, you know, I wouldn't even have to think about saying yes, you know, a good couple of years ago. So that happened. I suppose the overwhelming factor in, well, with myself and in my life is the word confidence, which is something, I mean, I'll link in sort of my health and you know, my sort of weight issues into that as well. But it's something that's always been a problem with me during my life. Sort of been a very, very shy character. I mean, a lot of you may say, you know, how can you be shy if you know, have your own YouTube channel and talk to, you know, hundreds of people on here. Well, that may be the case, but to me at this moment in time, I'm talking to a camera. You know, I don't picture, you know, the hundreds of people sort of looking at me. But I mean, even since I was very little and growing up, you know, my parents always said I was very shy. You know, at parents' evenings, even at primary school, going into high school, you know, I did alright academically, but one of the things that always cropped up with teachers was, you know, we wish you'd get more involved in class, which I didn't. You know, I was always scared of getting things wrong. I didn't want to answer things in case I got things wrong. I was always scared of that. You know, a lot of my mates had a lot more confidence than me, especially my best friend. He was always a lot more confident than me and still is. But you know, he was never afraid to sort of answer questions and stuff and speak to new people. So that, like I say, sort of growing up, it was always a case. Then obviously you know, you get to high school, you get into your teens. You know, it's kind of just the same as for boys as it is for girls, and you know, image starts to sort of play a part in things, and you know, you start feeling things for girls, and you know, relationships and all that kind of crap. So then, you know, I started getting sort of self-conscious about my looks and things. I mean, to say I only really had one girlfriend, really. Well, not even that. I never really had a proper girlfriend through high school, really. Like I say, you know, I was always very shy in sort of talking to girls. I always seemed to have a lot of girl friends, but I was always, when it came to sort of relationship side of things, I just didn't have the confidence to speak to girls properly like that, really. And even at the, you know, the odd times that I did, I'd sort of get either rejected or completely knocked down altogether. So you know, that started making me think, you know what, I clearly don't, you know, I'm not a good looking kind of guy, or there's something wrong with me. And I mean, you know, to this day, and I'm nearly 23 now, and I don't consider myself to be a good looking guy. I don't consider myself to be particularly ugly, but you know, I definitely don't think I'm a particularly good looking kind of guy. My nose for a start, I mean, probably can't really tell really from, but not really happy with my nose. Like I say, my weight recently especially, you know, that sort of added to the factor, and again, that's my own fault. You know, I've added to that. You know, I can't really do much about my face, but you know, I've not really helped myself in the weight factor. And then there's the hair issue, which, you know, I'm sure a lot of you have noticed. You know, I have a particularly high hairline now. Probably see on the top of my head there. I don't know how well that'll show up. Clear sort of bald patch on the top of my head. And I mean, this, you know, my hairline kind of started disappearing during high school, so you know, as you can imagine, that kind of got picked up on by certain people. So between my mates, you know, I didn't really mind it too much, you know, because there's always that bit of banter between mates, and you know, you sort of have a laugh there, and you don't mind it too much. But you know, when I get home at the end of the day, you know, it kind of has been said about me, so it makes me aware of it. And then when it comes to, you know, people that you didn't even know around school, just kind of pointing in the corridor and, you know, shouting receding hairline and, you know, baldy and, you know, all that kind of stuff. No, it wasn't, you know, wasn't particularly nice. I mean, people might even have noticed now, you know, on the YouTube comments, people making comments about it now. And to be honest, now it kind of washes over me now, because I've heard everything that people can say about it. But it's just a case of, you know, it is still there. You know, I'm very aware of it. I'm not happy with it, but there's nothing much I can do. Although I am making the decision to shave my head, which I've never done before. But over this next week or so, I'm thinking of shaving it, just to have a bit of a change in my look and see if that helps in any way, shape or form. So yes, you know, that definitely hit my confidence majorly through high school, and just in general's kind of always stuck there really. And like I say, with the girls, it always kind of held me back a lot. And just talking to people in general, it just made me think that they're going to be looking at my hair and my head and things. So yeah, I mean, my girlfriend, my partner, should I say, been with her 6 years, so it was sort of just towards the last year in high school that we got together. So obviously that became less of an issue, you know, talking to girls and stuff. But then again, the confidence issue was still there, just talking to people anyway. So that didn't really deal with it too much. And I mean, even now I'm still self-conscious about the way I look and talking to people, even though I'm with someone. You know, I think from those sort of confidence issues with people in general, but I think especially girls, and the sort of rejections and certain comments from people, it's just given me that, I mean, whether it'll always be with me, confidence wise, I've got slightly better from being at university and meeting new people, and obviously doing journalism, you have to talk to people you've never met. So I think from that side of things, that's kind of improved. But sort of getting compliments from people, I never really take them on board. Even on here on YouTube, you know, when people say that they've enjoyed my vlog, I kind of find it hard to believe. And you know, the fact I've got, I think, 55 subscribers now or something, and you know, at the end of the day, I'm just a guy sat here talking to a camera. And you know, when people say such nice things about me, it's, you know, it's very lovely, and you know, it's I really, you know, obviously appreciate them, but I always find it very hard to believe and sort of take in. I mean, obviously, like I say, you know, I'm with someone now, so it doesn't really make, you know, that much of a difference with girls. But I mean, if anything was ever to sort of happen in the relationship that I'm in, and that was to end, you know, I'd feel like I would struggle immensely, even more than sort of what I did in high school, sort of getting back out there and talking to people, and sort of, you know, I don't feel like I'm good enough sort of for people, you know, in what I do. Don't know whether that's something that's always been there or from certain situations, but you know, I feel like even within my relationship, that I'm just sort of not a person that's good enough for a certain someone, or that I'll ever be good enough. Which I know it sounds like a really soppy thing to sort of say, and what people do say, but it's the truth, you know. If someone was to say that I was good looking, you know, I wouldn't believe them. I'd just call them a lie straight away, and it wouldn't really matter what people would say. But I don't know, I just wouldn't believe it, to be honest. So yeah, I suppose really when I sort of pinpoint things back, I mean, I don't consider myself to have been a guy that was bullied at school. You know, I wouldn't say I was a popular kid, but I wouldn't say I was one of the unpopular kids that sort of got bullied a lot. I was kind of one of those in the middle kind of guys. But you know, like I say, we had a decent group of friends there, so you know, there was never really an issue with bullying. But that was something that wasn't really nice during high school. And I mean, I know a lot of kids get it a lot, but I'm just, you know, I'm trying to sort of think about why, you know, sort of certain factors as to why I'm feeling the way that I am. And I don't know, like I don't even know where I'm kind of going with this really. But this past year especially has really got to me. Like I say, become a recluse in my room, hardly really go out anywhere. Started drinking a lot more than what I used to. I'm nowhere, you know, I'm not an alcoholic at all, but you know, when you start drinking sort of on your own, you know, most nights a week, not vast amounts, but just drinking on your own for no reason. I don't even know how it started or why it started, but it just did. Don't really think I do it as much as I used to, but you know, it does still happen. You know, usually sort of people meet up with the friends and go out for a few beers and stuff, but you know, when you're doing it at home on your own, it's you sort of feel a bit odd. That said, I am going to one of my best mates' birthday parties tomorrow, so there'll be a lot of booze and drinking there, and I definitely won't be on my own, so so that should be more fun. Just realised that some of my mates might end up watching this, so that makes it a bit more difficult. So I don't really know where that leaves me. I mean, the questions in the things in the questionnaire sort of talk about, you know, feeling like you've let people down and how often you do that, and I kind of feel it most days. I should point out recently, after the whole job thing I did recently, I did an apprenticeship to be a sort of a railway engineer, a PTS trackman, which I passed successfully, and recently signed up to a company. So I am sorted on the job front now, which, you know, is a major sort of boost in my life. And I really can't wait to get started. But again, even though that's happened in my life, and although I was happy and excited at the time, it's sort of when I get home at night again and I'm sort of sat here that excitement quickly goes. I feel very up and down with my emotions a lot. There's never a day where I can feel happy 100% of the time, which I'm not saying that that's generally how people are. I'm sure people genuinely don't feel like that, but I can be so up and down that it sort of gets strange, where I can be looking forward to something 1 minute, and within 10 minutes of doing something else, I suddenly won't want to be doing it anymore. I don't want to, I'm not excited for it, and that doesn't seem normal. Some mornings I wake up sort of bright and breezy, want to get out of bed and sort of get things done, and then the next morning I could stay there all day really. But anyway, I've gone off there. What was I saying? Yes, letting people down. I mean, my parents were sort of over the moon that I'd sort of done university and things. My granddad, who was my only surviving grandparent, whilst I was at university, was really happy that I'd sort of started to follow and do something that I really wanted to do with sports. He was a massive sports fan like myself, and always said that I could be a commentator. Even when I was really little, I always said I'd be a good commentator. He sadly died just 3 months before I actually graduated, which was very hard. But I felt when I gave up following my sports journalism career, I felt like I'd let my parents down, and I felt like I'd really let my granddad down, and that I'm not religious, I am an atheist, but if there is a heaven, and if he is up there, then I felt like he'd be disappointed looking down at me that I'd not stuck with it and tried to really have make a proper go of it. And yeah, I feel like quite a lot, even though I've got this new job. I've always felt that my mum, more than my dad, didn't really want me to get into something like this, and feels like I could do better, which I'm sure parents may feel about the kids anyway. And I'm not saying that she isn't happy for me and will support me. I mean, my parents are so supportive of me, but I feel like I've let them down by not really properly following my dreams, and I don't know, kind of making the 3 years at university a bit of a waste really. Feel like I've sort of let my partner down, and I just feel like I've let myself down, I suppose. A lot of days I just feel sort of really disappointed with myself, and that I just feel very lazy, lack the motivation to do anything, even just simple tasks. I mean, something as daft as I'm kind of into doing airfix models, and I got one at Christmas, and I've just not got round to doing it. And there's been days where I was like, I'll definitely do that tomorrow, and then I'll come round to it, and I just feel like I just haven't had the motivation. I just feel like it's just gone from me, and it used to be there, especially during high school, and it just since leaving then and during uni, it just feels like part of me just drifted away. What else is on the questionnaire? Sleeping. It says, do you have trouble getting to sleep, staying asleep, or oversleeping? I mean, there's days where I can sleep in fairly late, but then there's nights where it just takes me ages to get to sleep, and I know that when I'm not going to get to sleep, then I stay up. I'll be on Twitter, I'll be on my PlayStation, I'll be watching DVDs and things, and I can be going to bed as late as 3. 3:30 in the morning, which isn't right. You know, getting up at maybe 9 o'clock in the morning sometimes, not going to bed till 3 in the morning, or you know, staying in bed as late as 12 and then not going to bed as late as 2-3 o'clock again. You know, I have no pattern to my sleep at all. Whether that's anything to do with it, I don't even know, but I mean, that was some of the questions, and you know, I do struggle to get to sleep sometimes. It mentions about eating, sort of not having appetites at times, which recently that has been happening, which isn't much like me. But then it also says at other times overeating, which again, you know, recently I've been trying to make a bit of effort with my weight and what I eat, and you know, I can go days where I'm alright, but then I will go and overeat for no reason. I don't even feel hungry, but I'll just go and do it anyway for some reason, and you know, that just makes me feel down afterwards. I you know, feel why the hell have I undone all that work that I've just, you know, done. Can't even remember what the other things were. And it says little interest or pleasure in doing things, which I suppose I've already sort of mentioned there. You know, things that I usually do, love doing, and not having the interest in doing them anymore. And again, it's that thing of kind of being up and down in my mood. You know, I can set myself a plan for the day and really look forward to it, but when it gets to doing it, even something as simple as thinking in the morning, oh, I'll complete a certain level on a game, or you know, I want to start a new career on FIFA with a different team. You know, I'll have some ideas for transfers and things, and then I'll get to sort of loading the game up and just think I can't be arsed with it anymore. And that's something that never happened in my life, really. And even with, you know, I know people probably make the jokes of how bad Leeds United have been in the past few seasons, but you know, they are the most major part in my life. You know, I've followed them home and away since 1997. And this past year especially, I've not, you know, when I've not been to a game, I've not particularly missed it at certain times. And, you know, I don't always come out and mention it because it, you know, it makes me feel like I'm talking like less of a fan, but it's just been the way I've been feeling recently, and you know, it's not like me, and it's not normal, and I think that's sort of the major thing that's sort of worrying me about things. I mean, it does mention on the questionnaire things about, you know, thinking that things would be better if you weren't here, and you know, sort of death and things. You know, that's never been an issue. You know, I've never been a self-harmer. I've never got to that stage where I thought, you know, I'll be better off dead than what I am. You know, I'm very appreciative of what I have in my life. I'm very, you know, appreciative of my family and the friends that, you know, I do keep in contact with, and what I have in my life, you know, materialistic and non-materialistic. You know, I do appreciate life, so that's never been an issue. So I'm definitely don't think I'm seriously depressed or anything, or if I am depressed at all, like I say, this is kind of me trying to talk about things, I suppose. And I don't really know where to go from there, actually, guys. Yeah, it's been different doing this, but it's been good to sort of talk about things. There's probably a few things I've missed out. I'm sorry it's been a bit of a complete ramble, and only that one edit in, and it's probably going to be a really long video, guys, so I apologise for that. And if people don't even watch it, then it's not a problem. Like I say, I suppose in a bit of a selfish way, it was just a way of kind of helping myself through this. But you know, if people do do watch it, then well, I mean, you can say what you want. I mean, thank you for watching, guys. And yes, I will be back to normality hopefully soon with some different vlogs and back to my normal self. But yeah, this may be something new I may have to deal with. I'm not quite sure. But hopefully I've maybe got to the bottom of a few things there. If you don't have any thoughts or anything, anyone out there that feels, you know any help or anything, or just any suggestions for me, then definitely let me know. Yeah, thank you for listening to me ramble on, guys, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you.